What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk, and guess what? I'm back with another amazing conversation. It's a conversation that I've waited to have for a very long time with a guy who I met quite a few months ago, Mr. Jonathan Stacey.
Hey y'all, what's up, everybody?
How are you?
I am great. I gotta be honest with you, and for those of you who don't know how I do, you'll get to that in a moment.
Oh yes, we will.
But like, I'm like struggling sitting here. I'm like, he's asking me questions, and I do the question asking.
Yes, and speaking of which, Mr. Jonathan Stacey is an Emmy Award, yes, y'all, Emmy Award winning 2 times.
maybe I'll have a few more coming up.
We'll see. By the time we're done with this conversation, maybe he would have won some more awards,
or maybe not.
We're speaking positivity into the air, so
we'll speak into the air.
1, 2, and it's gonna keep going.
Yeah. We're grateful.
But I got the opportunity to become familiar with this gentleman as I was watching my local news station. Am I okay to say the news station? I was watching a news station here in Atlanta, and what happened was I got the opportunity to see his face, and I said,
And you were watching which station?
I was watching Fox 5.
Yeah, Fox 5.
There you go. I was watching Fox 5 here in Atlanta.
All right, because some people are like, okay, Jonathan Stacey, okay, I don't know this guy. He looked kind of familiar. They need all of it.
Yes, I mean, I just had to make sure. But I was watching him, and I liked what I saw. And I'm like, okay, this is somebody who's around the same age as me, looks like me. I want to know more about this person. Found him on social media. I am a DM slider. I am very bold. No, I was not sliding in the DM for anything other than a professional reason, and that is why we are here today. I wanted to know more about his journey, and I wanted him to share his journey with me, and we could share it with you. So that is why you are here today, and I thank you.
Let us share.
Let's share that journey. So before Fox 5, what was Jonathan Stacey doing?
What was Jonathan Stacey doing? Doing the same thing that he was doing at Fox 5 in a different city. Mm-hmm. Literally over the past decade, 10 years in TV news, come August.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, the anniversary's coming up. So for the past decade, I've been all across the Southeast. So most recently, prior to Atlanta, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. Before then, I was in Jacksonville, Florida. Before then, I was in Huntsville, Alabama. Before then, I was in this little small city in Kentucky called Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I've heard of that because we have a Bowling Green in Ohio.
Yeah, the bigger Bowling Green.
Ohio's bigger?
Yeah, and they both small.
I've been to neither, but yeah.
You didn't miss much. I was in and I was out. What did I make? Like $23,000 a year.
Oh.
Nonetheless, I started out in Bristol, Virginia.
Bristol?
Virginia. So, Tri-Cities, Northeast Tennessee, Southwest Virginia. You had never been, you've never heard of it, don't worry about it. I ended up here.
I was trying to follow you by going through the map in my head, and some of those places are just like,
I don't see them on the map. Yeah, I don't know where they're at. Yeah.
So, what got you into news, into sharing of information?
Q, I really have a hard time trying to figure out what was the moment. But what I do remember was when I was 13, 14 years old, I got involved in some modeling. So I was going on this little modeling tour. Mm-hmm. It turns out the people didn't select me. So, my heart was broken. And I'm like, okay, I thought, I started having dreams. It's like, okay, modeling, acting, okay, maybe something else is next that involves a big screen or at least being more of a public figure in the world of entertainment or something like that. And then I was like, I was watching the news one day and I was like, okay, that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. But that's a more sure path. And I always liked the news and I was always curious about the weather. So I went to a TV station when I was maybe about 14, 15 years old, shadowed a local news anchor in town and met some of the reporters there. And it was like the bug bit me. from that moment on, I was like, I got to do this. I love the pace of everything. I was addicted to the news from that point on. Literally, everybody else is coming home watching 106 in Park and TRL. I'm coming home watching CNN. Telling everybody what's going on. So it really, from about like my mid-teenage years all the way to now, it's been what I've done, and I haven't done anything else. I've done things on the side, but I haven't like veered off the path. I went to college, did journalism, and literally from college on, I've always worked in TV news. I tell people at this point, there's not been more than a week or 2 weeks that I've taken off or maybe been in between jobs that I haven't been on television. So like I've been on TV pretty much 5 out of 7 days of the past 10 years. So
wow. Now, where are you from originally?
So originally so here's the deal: is I was born in Auburn, Alabama. You know, the Auburn Tigers. You know, Auburn University. I was born there. That's where my dad's family is. And then me and my mom relocated after he passed to Tennessee. So I claim Tennessee as home, but like people like, you born, and I was born in Alabama, but I don't remember.
So either way it goes, whether it was Alabama, whether it was Tennessee, you are a Southern gentleman.
I am the quintessential Southern gent.
Okay.
I got it covered. I have literally lived and or worked in every city in the Southeast to the east of the Mississippi River and to the south of the Nixon-Dixon line. So Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Wow.
Georgia.
10 years in.
Well, that's that's over a 30-year period, but 10 years has been mostly with the career.
Wow. So what I want to know, the individual who you shadowed at the tender age of 14, have you gone back and talked to them and told them how much they inspired where you are now? So
that's a good question. Now, the gentleman who I originally shadowed, I did try to reach out to him, maybe, what was it? Probably while I was in college. Mm-hmm. So that would have been 5 years removed from when I shadowed. And I wanted him to give me a job. He was somewhere else, and he never responded. So we're not going to try him again. Oh. If he sees me, he's seen me on TV because I ended up working in that market eventually when he was. But the funny thing is, one of the guys who I met there, he was a reporter at that TV station, really popular in town. I met him on that tour when I was 15 years old. And he ended up coming to Charlotte after I had already gotten there, and we were competitors. And he still keeps up with me today. So,
wow.
Thank yous, they loom large, but, you got to circle back around to tell people.
Are they Emmy Award winning as well?
I'm not for sure what he has on his wall or on his coffee table, but he is
You're worried about yours. That's all
I'm grateful for anybody who gets them. Congratulations. Yeah. If you're getting Emmys, Grammys, going for the EGOT, congratulations.
So you're like 1 out of 4. Like you are
1 out of 4.
Yeah, with the EGOT.
Oh,
now all you need is a Grammy and Oscar.
I got a ways to go.
But I
got a ways to go, and the Grammys, I don't know what we're gonna get because I don't sing. So
you don't have to. Didn't Michelle Obama get a Grammy for her when you write your life
story? What I need to do is do my Audible book.
Exactly, and you can get a Grammy for that. Boom. See, okay, there you go. Number 2.
We got the Grammy covered. Okay, we got to get this Tony. Got to get an Oscar. Okay.
So in news, in media, how does one get an award like that?
So the process is kind of interesting. So you basically collect your own body of work throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And I say year, it may be from June to December in one region, another region it may be, May to April. Mm-hmm. But over a period of a year, you collect your own work and what you esteem to be good, or your television station, wherever you work, they collect that. And so you basically take your greatest hits, and then there are hundreds or maybe dozens of categories in which you can enter. So you self-submit, and then from there, people in other regions judge your work up against your relatively close or geographic competitions or competitors. And from there, they create nominees, and the nominees, of those nominees, you have 1 or sometimes 2 eventual winners of the Emmy Award. So It's one of the higher, awards in journalism. So if you can get a couple, I've been grateful. The people who've been in TV news for years and they haven't got one, and they've tried. Many people, it's worth it. But I was able to snag one when I was in Charlotte. Came here, I was here less than like 9 months, and I got my first one.
And you can use that as leverage for raises. I'm assuming you can use that as leverage for like the different positions that you may want within like your market.
I'll put it like this, okay? So like Emmy is gold, okay? I don't know if it's real gold,
gold-ish.
Yeah. Gold statue, okay? It's like you wearing a piece of jewelry. You are cute by yourself.
Yes.
If you put on, look gold chain, okay, it may accentuate you a bit.
Yes.
But you still cute with or without it. And that's the way I see the Emmy. It's like, yeah, it may, make me spark a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm still me without it. I'm still the journalist, the meteorologist that I am with or without an award. It's just an accolade that I'm grateful
that
for.
Other people look at and
esteem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I don't negate that fact, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah.
In fact, if you were to walk into my house, you would see them. That would be one of the first things you see. And I see them every day, and anyone who comes in has to see them every day, or whenever they come. So they're not hidden. I'm not trying to be too modest about it, but nonetheless, I do understand that it's good to be recognized, but if it gets me a job, it gets me a job, but I doubt it.
So your ultimate goal, what is your ultimate goal? You've been in the industry for 10 years, coming up on 10 years. Once again, happy anniversary. Yeah. What is your ultimate goal in journalism?
Ultimate goal. So I think that's changed as time has gone on, and I think we're starting to kind of give a little depth to this interview, get into the deeper things. But I used to say maybe like being on the Today Show or Good Morning America. Those shows are still, obviously, if they called, I would call them back or answer the phone when they called. But I think I view life differently than I did now than when I did when I started out in the business. Over the past 10 years, things have changed, and what it means for me to be happy and to find joy looks a little bit different. So can that be here in Atlanta? I don't rule that out. I am happy right now. Can I be happier? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something that you could probably tweak or change, or something that can be added to your life or even taken away that can help you greater embrace the moments that you are in,
right.
And the experiences that you have been allotted. So we'll see what happens. Things have gone well here in Atlanta so far. I hope they keep on going well. If they don't,
What is the most valuable lesson that you feel like you've learned over these 10 years?
A lot of people will say things like, trust the process, things work out over time.
Yeah.
And, you hear all that kind of stuff, and it's just like, things will make sense later. And it's just like, I'm trying to figure out how I can get this opportunity now, or how I can get out of whatever hell I'm in and move on to the next thing. But I actually learned that is true. And time really does help with a lot of things. What I am, Q, is a master strategizer. I have a strategy for everything. So when I do something, like, it can be done out of good intentions with good heart. You all right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Getting choked up already. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay. Back to you.
Tissue.
Back to you, Jonathan.
Tissue. So I typically do have that effect on people, so I understand. Nonetheless, I realized that I strategize pretty much everything I do.
Okay.
And I can do it with pure and good intentions, but still have a strategy behind it. And I've done that for my career. I have had steps. I want to hit it here. I want to hit it there. I want to do this. I want to make this connection to meet this person. I want to do this story or do this so I can do that. And I've done that. And I'm not going to say it has not worked. I think it does help to have a plan, and it does help to have a strategy. But what I can say is that pretty much every opportunity that I've got and everything that's come to me is just because life happened. This thing came out of surprise. There was a favor of God that was on my life. And sometimes it was God's mercy keeping me from what I should have received, and God's grace provided me something that I should not have received. So I ended up here because of a coworker in Charlotte. She came here to work. Christine Spiro works at our station now. And she told the management at Fox 5 about me. So you can do all the networking and everything in your life and then get on LinkedIn, dress up your profile, do all this stuff. But really it mattered at the end, the quality of the relationships that you have.
Yes.
And so that's when it hit me. It was like, man, you can strategize, but it has to be relational. You have to center relationships. You have to build with people. You have to care about people because your next opportunity, who you become ultimately, not just professionally, but in every area of your life, is going to likely be predicated on your ability to connect and pour into other relationships.
I agree. And I've learned over the years, they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I disagree with that. It's who knows you. The work that you've done. The work that you've done speaks for itself.
You said you can know them,
but they don't need to know you. Because, when they say that, people want their names in rooms that they aren't even present in, the only way that that's going to happen is people need to know you.
And I am, which, I had this whole thing with social media that we won't get into, but social media is has become this thread or this feed of just kind of constant motivation and feedback. But, if you look at some of these posts, sometimes they contradict each other. Yes. So it's like, I want to keep my business private. I want to have a private life. I want to have a private love life, private work life. I want to go
in a public.
Yeah, exactly. And then, the next post underneath it says, I want my name to be spoken of in rooms that I'm not in. So it's kind of like you really have to find out and figure out what season you are in of life. Right. So you can actually go through that, be clear, and see, okay, this is for me, this speaks to me, and go past the next one and be like, that ain't for me right now. You got to have a sense of discernment, even when you scrolling up and down IG. Because you will be twisted. You will not know if you're going to do public life or the private life, within about 3 posts. So, nonetheless.
And you often take social media breaks. Why do you feel that's important?
So, it's one of those things, like, with my career, social media became the thing that, like, okay, it's good to do. It's nice to have so employers can engage with you. Yeah. So you get into the business. And so we all know how social media has grown over the past 10 years. And then about maybe 3 or 4 years into it, it's like, okay, you need to have this because now people want information from you. Mm-hmm. So, we're using Twitter, using Facebook, IG, etc., to get information out. Okay, so we went through this. Okay, it's good to have for your own personal, professional, portfolio. Then it's good to have for information's sake. And then now we're into this kind of era where it's good to have so people can engage with you, so they can see your personality, so they can, come in contact with your brand. Mm-hmm. So it keeps on changing. And that's good. But, the fact of the matter is, like, I put a forecast or something on Twitter, 8 people will like it. I go to the beach, which I just got back from. And
didn't take me, but it's okay.
Everybody
wants to go.
Every time I go to the beach, I'll take you next time. But here's the deal. Like 100, 150 people are like that. So it's like, okay, I'm a weatherman, and so I give you a forecast, and like people are not really engaging with that, but people do want to see me at the beach. And so if you're going to have a life and you're going to have a job, the beach is part of my life. Like, that's like my private life, what I'm doing when I'm not at work. So it's like, well, how much of that do I want to make public? Mm-hmm. And so because I have a job that's just not about my brand, but half of it or the majority of it is about information, I have to have this delicate balance. And so I don't really feel the need to tell you that I'm not jumping on anybody. I don't really feel the need to tell you I'm getting a pedicure, show you, that whole thing.
I don't feel attacked, even though I've done that before.
Self-care, you got your little toes and on. It's cute or whatever, but like I just never really found the need to do that. And then I'm not going to post anything that's controversial.
Yeah,
because you know the company I work for, and then as a journalist, you want to maintain a level of neutrality, and everything today these days has some sort of issue with it. People, you're ready to cancel it. People are ready to start it over.
I don't have an opinion.
So yeah, so it's well, I have an opinion on everything. That's the thing.
I'm not going to share it with you.
Everything. So it's like, you know, I just don't go there. So I'll put something on there, you know, I go to the beach or whatever, you know, get your little photo, give you a little chest, and that's it.
I mean, you worked hard on it, so I mean, why not? Why not?
You know.
So being the person who provides people daily with information, were you always that type of person, like in your family, that as soon as you get some news or some juice or some gossip,
that's what we call it.
You want to, you know, you got to call somebody and give it to them.
Yeah. So what I am is I'm that person, like, I need to get the nugget, I need to get the juice, I need to get the tea, whatever we're going to use today. And then I need to, like, go and find something else to qualify. So, like, I got to call somebody and ask some deeper questions. And so they're like, I heard such and such happen. And so I end up calling. And then I went on the page. I went on MySpace, you know, back in the day. I went on Facebook to back that up. And trust me, they were not there. So it don't make sense. So I do my journalistic work, but I just don't tell you. But I've also done my work on the side to kind of help you out. You know, to help build the picture, to tell, you know, give it context. But yeah, I've always enjoyed telling people information and, like, you know, kind of having the inside knowledge on it. But, you know, we're talking about things have changed. You know, people value information differently today.
I agree.
The fact of the matter is people would rather hear my opinion more than they would actually rather hear what I have to say about the facts. So we're kind of just in a different era. Not that there's a great opinion about the weather, like, you know, but people would rather me say it's a gross day than we got rain coming. Like, it's just like, you know, you would rather emoji of, like, you know, that little green ugly emoji than, you know, a graphic. Like, it's just like people consume information. That's a small scale way of putting it, but people just want to engage with personalities more. And so there's a balance, a delicate balance that you have to have with that.
So when it comes to working for these news platforms, as we know, you know, everything starts to change as we get older. So what kind of changes do you feel are coming in the world of journalism?
In the world of journalism, which can I catch my breath? We've changed everything so much. I've been doing it for 10 years, and it's changed probably more dramatically than it had changed any other time in history, and that is due to the evolution of digital. Yeah. So just, you know, the fact of the matter that we can do this interview where we're doing it right now, and it can be right now live, or people can watch it, you know, whenever they want to on their phone, you know, at home, at the airport, in the sky, you know, wherever you're doing, whatever you're doing. That has changed everything. So people can get news everywhere. So the biggest thing that when we were kids and we were growing up, we were used to, like, the news coming on. It's 6 o'clock. You sit there and listen to it. You know, did y'all have snow days in Ohio?
Oh, yes.
Y'all did? Okay. Because I thought y'all was out there, you know, going to school on 6 feet and everything.
No, we were. However.
But down south, we, you know, a little flake comes and you looking for your school on the bottom.
They close the city down.
So, exactly. We're about to shut down the house. Yeah. So, we're going to be shut up in the house. And so, like, you know, those things are just kind of part of our childhood. We remember. Now, folks are getting a text message saying, I don't got to school tomorrow. You know, we're doing a work day, work from home day, and all that kind of stuff. So, the essentiality of TV news is not really the fabric of that. It's not really in people's lives anymore. It's just, you can, if you watch it, you can get some information, you can get engaged with your community and what's going on in your community in a different way, but you don't have to. You can get the weather on your phone, you can get, you know, push alerts, tweet updates, all that kind of stuff, anytime you want. So because you're not essential, or people are not making you essential, you have to figure out, okay, how can I be in other places where people are? But also, if I want to draw people to that on-screen experience. What about me? What about our product? What about what we do and the information that we provide? What about that can draw the audience to have a unique experience with us rather than watching another station or flipping on Netflix or Hulu? So like you have to figure out that differentiation piece, and that's what everybody's trying to figure out. That's why you have opinion TV, you know, the cable channels. That's why you have more local content that's being produced, and you're seeing things that, you know, maybe a little bit softer or lighter in nature, more entertainment coverage, because you're trying to figure out exactly what does the audience have a taste for that maybe they can't find somewhere else. You know, who cooks it like you cook it? Well, you can only cook it how you cook it instead of trying to duplicate how somebody else cooks it. So, you know, you're trying to find your own recipe. And for most TV stations, even the best ones, the greatest ones, the ones that have high ratings, the ones that have low ratings, they're still trying to figure it out.
You know what? Speaking of the recipe, you've been in the industry for 10 years. So there are plenty of people that you've had the opportunity to work with. And we know that we tend to be like sponges on occasion, and we take information from many different areas. So how long did it take you to figure out the right recipe to create the Jonathan that we see on our TV every night?
Whew. This one came. So in TV, what you do is you grow up and you watch people. I told you that I used to watch CNN when I got home while everybody else was watching. 106.
We were watching 106 in Park, and he was watching CNN.
We got it. So, and you know, back in the day, like Don Lemon was on CNN. It's back in the day. That's this recording.
Well, that could have been yesterday.
Yeah. Don Lemon was on there. TJ Holmes was on there. And then there are a number of other journalists. But those guys, they look like me. So I was trying to emulate them. You know, I wanted to figure out how I could get my hair the texture that TJ's hair was. You know, you got the little wave pattern.
Yeah.
But they got something in them that I don't have in me. I got a little nap pattern.
It's called S-curl, and you can get it in a box.
Don't do that. Don't do that. TJ's is real. Nonetheless, they've had their own careers and have gone their own way. But they were figures and examples that I looked to as a kid, as a teenager growing up, and even as, you know, a college student person starting out in the industry. So you almost want to dress like them, you want to look like them, you want to kind of like have everything that they got going on, so you can kind of like chart your own course, but kind of use them as a roadmap. So I used to always watch people like that, and I just wanted to kind of do it, but like, that's the kind of suit I need to wear. I need that tie. And then I figured out like, okay, like, I would stumble, I would mess up, I would stutter, I wouldn't look right, something like that. And it's like, well, dang, how can I not get it? Like, you know, like, this ain't really working. And I went to a TV station in Florida, and that was probably one of the darkest seasons of my life. But the TV station, like, urged me to, like, be who I was. They, you know, don't try to be anybody else, you know, like, really let your personality show. And I could go on air and I could say things, and the management, they would not come back and like say, don't say that or don't act like that. So like, if I felt like giving the weather with my arms crossed, because that's just how I felt about it at the time, like I could do it. I could say things the way I wanted to say it. I could speak in my Black vernacular. I could use Ebonics. I could talk the way I wanted to talk. You know, still getting the job done. And that broke it for me. If you see me on TV, I am not like gonna be like, you know, this cold front is coming in tonight and it's gonna really, you know, make the winds increase and all that kind of stuff. Like when you go outside, like if you just got your new do, I'm sorry that you got your hair done. I'm sorry she couldn't squeeze you in another day, because this ain't the day to be walking outside with.
Relatability.
And so that's what I decided. But it was hard because you got these other people and people who I still work with to this day, and they have their own style, but they're rigid. And they make more money than I do. They've been in places longer than I have been. They get more opportunities than I get. And, you know, they talk about, you know, things in a very, what I call traditional way. Yeah. That's their path. And I had to learn to say, it is at least worth being me to live as I believe, as Whitney Houston would say. Yeah. And they can't take that from me. So you may put me in a different position, put me in a different place, not give me an opportunity to take something away from me. But at least I'm living as I believe. At least I'm bringing myself to the moment. And so if I don't go any further, if I don't get a re-signed contract, if it doesn't work out, I won't have to say, well, I was really trying to be like such and such. But what if I had to try to be myself? No, I'm myself from jump.
But as things start to evolve, that individuality is what's going to allow people to connect with you and want to know where you're going. So,
and Q, to that point, that's what I always say. There are people, the thing is, when you're on any type of mass medium, I don't care whether you play sports, whether you are a singer, whether you're an artist, whether you're on a movie set or a newscaster, whatever it is, you do want people to like you because you want people to watch your content, to engage with it, because that means more cha-ching for you, more opportunities for you as well. What I had to come to realize is I don't want to distract viewers, and I do not want to detract viewers. I want everybody here in Atlanta, across Georgia, to watch Fox 5. And I really want them to watch Phenomenon. I did. I'm not going to lie.
Ratings matter.
Here's they do matter. Here's the thing. I realize that there are some people out there who just, I'm not their stuff. I'm not their guy. Like, he talks too fast. He does maybe moves a little bit too much. Here's the thing. There are other options. I don't want you to go there, but there are other options. But what I will say is, if you can manage to accept that fact and just live as yourself, you're going to attract a much loyal following because you're being yourself. And so it is worth the 10% of people, hypothetically, that I may turn off. For the 90% of people, or maybe not that much, but for the 60% of people who really, really, really appreciate the way I deliver the news or deliver the weather. So you try to find a balance and do your job with credibility and without being distracting and keeping the information priority. But at the same time, you have to say, I got to be me when I come to this.
And what I've realized, and I said this earlier, when I first started watching you, I felt it was somebody that I could relate to. By the way that you deliver, by the fact of this amazing melanin skin, that's going on right here.
You gotta go to the beach to get the tan.
Well, I guess that's why I don't have the tan, because I haven't been to the beach. And that's why I knew this was a conversation that I wanted to have, because I feel that when it comes to people who are on journeys of greatness, there is a story that you're living that you're going to have to share with somebody else, because there's somebody out here that's watching this conversation or listening to this conversation that needs to be inspired by the words that you shared throughout this conversation. So thank you for being that person in the most authentic, genuine way that you can be.
I try to keep it real.
And you have. And since I've known you, you have. Like, I didn't know what to expect. But this man, he's funny. He has a personality. And I love it.
And really what it comes down to is, like, how can I get all these other distractions out of the way? What the world tells me I should be, what other people think I should be. There is a friend of mine who will remain nameless for this conversation, hates when I say one word on TV. That word is corridor. I don't know why the person doesn't like the word. It's the word.
Do they know what the word means?
Yes. I use it to describe interstates. I-85, I-75, just say the I-85 corridor. And I take that advice, but I still say the word corridor. So you have to realize, okay, everybody is not going to like it. There are people, somebody at work a few weeks ago told me they didn't like a gray suit that I wear with some patterns. Okay, it's still in my closet. Maybe I won't wear it as often. But, so it's like taking things that people get from you.
But there's somebody that loves that.
Exactly. And it's just like holding it there so you can be aware of what people's perceptions are and what their opinions are. But then at the end of the day, it's saying, okay, if it is helping me be me and me come alive, I gotta keep it.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I don't express it in that way, or I change it up, or I'm more conscious or sensitive to how I deliver this, or how I wear this, or how I articulate this. but I have to figure out a way not to suppress who I am.
Mm.
It's my vocabulary.
Based off of other people's expectations.
It's my closet. Like, these are things that they're unique to me. And
so when people offer, their comments about things like that, do they offer a solution or a suggestion in place of that, or do they just come and say, this is what I don't like and you need to stop doing it?
Generally, they don't have any sort of recommendation or what they would consider maybe like, the ideal way to do it. It's just like, I know you're unhappy about it. The viewers here in Atlanta have been much better than viewers elsewhere. Got, more of my own folks, and take that how you want to, or watching these days. So that does help. People just automatically do understand some things. We're in an era too where people comment about things, but they tend to do it like on, IG or on Twitter or something like that. You don't get as many emails and stuff as you used to get.
Is it fan mail? Like,
and, I still get some stuff. I got something, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
A woman drew a picture of me. It was really nice. She's got a little fuzzy hair on it. It was three-dimensional. So we still get things like that, but I really don't suffer those comments. They come in, and the fact of the matter is, I do talk fast sometimes. Sometimes I will fuddle a word. Sometimes I will wear something that I probably should not wear. Sometimes I will confuse what county is in a location. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I will get the forecast wrong. It happens. In your job, you have a level of error that you have. Like, you have to get it right, and you have to be efficient, but there is a margin of error in everybody's job. Mine just happens to be public. Mm-hmm. Like the President of the United States, not to his stature, but I'm just saying, like, it's just a public thing. So you feel like you can probably not only publicly judge, but you also, that you can voice those criticisms. I can take it. It's part of the job. But at the end of the day, you have to kind of come back once again into yourself and say, okay, I got this. Let me understand it and accept it for what it is, but let me put it in its right spot. I can't let that taint all of who I am and what I do.
Now, your job is to share yourself with the people by sharing information with the people.
Oh, like
what do you
share
have?
yourself with people by sharing information? Oh.
Yes. Ooh.
Yeah. Let's
what do you give to yourself outside of work, when you're not clocked in, when you're not on our television? What do you do? What do you enjoy in life? What motivates you?
What motivates me? Oprah wrote a book a couple years ago, and she talked about, in this book, what I know for sure, people having different experiences. And she said, for some people, having a home-cooked meal is a 5-star experience. For somebody else, it may be a 2-star experience. And so that really helped me in, like, understanding, like, why some people, like, love stuff, and then other people, they hate it. Mm-hmm. It's like, where are we going here? For me, like, the gym is like a 2 or 3-star experience. I go because my job requires that I maintain a sense of, fitness to be on air. And I also go for my health. Mm-hmm. But I don't like waking up in the morning. Just to go, get on the treadmill, just to go lift weights, that kind of stuff. I was like, this is for the aesthetic. I'm not about to lift the couch. It's not happening. I'm not taking anything. I'm not the person that, let me take that to the car for you.
And so that you can look good in that gray suit that friend doesn't like.
Exactly. Like, it's for that. So, so you make the little suit pop up or whatever, get some pecs. So that's like a 2-star experience, 2-3-star experience for me. But at the same time, travel is a 5-star experience. I get out of town, I go a lot of places. I was in Dubai earlier this year. I was in Antigua just last month. So, I travel a lot. I have a lot of friends around the country, so I try to get out and see them. But I also solo travel too. So I'll go by myself to different places. A lot of people think it's different, but if you haven't done it, don't knock it until you try it. Yeah. You can do things in your own time. You don't got to get in the group chat, you don't wait for them to pay their money. No one ain't backing out at the last minute.
And I was
left at the airport.
Gonna ask, why are solo trips or solo functions, solo excursions, why are they important for oneself?
Well, the fact of the matter is, if you're like me, you're around people every day when you work. And most people, I live alone, but, you know, if you have a family, if you have, you know, a significant other, if you do have children or, you know, a greater part of your family that's around you, okay, you know, they're around you. They don't got to be around you on vacation. You may need a vacation from them. Work friends, you know, fraternity brothers or whatever. Yeah, I think we have our spaces and I see them. I like that. But for me, how this all came about, Keita, to be honest with you, I'm fortunate. You know, I have a great job and it's provided me with some opportunities and some blessings that I may not have otherwise. And I'm grateful for that. Here's the thing. When I'm getting ready to go on a trip, like I got to plan around the TV station schedule. So they want me there these many days. They don't want me off this day, all that kind of stuff. You know, if you got unlimited PTO or you working from home or you're one of those slams the laptop down until Monday people.
Yeah.
I got to work on Saturday and Sunday. Like they're going to want me back. So I know you want to stay in Puerto Vallarta, you know, until Monday of Columbus Day. But here's the deal. I can't because I need to go back to work. So I got too much stuff as far as the calendar is concerned to be coordinating. So there are some people who are really patient or friends in the business who get it. But it takes a little bit more coordination than the average profession may at this point in time, especially with work from home being so common. Then the other thing is too, it's just the money and stuff. Well, you know, it's like, you know, I don't know if I want to do this. You know, what time did you say? Why are you trying to fly Delta? Did you not see that Southwest had the tickets on? This is what I'm going to fly.
Yeah.
And so there's way too much decision making and collaboration and even compromise that has to go into the planning of it. Then when you get there, you don't want to have breakfast. I want to eat breakfast. You want to stay up all night. I don't. Vacation is really supposed to be about you recharging, relaxing, and maybe experiencing something different. And so I have found those experiences for me. They are done well solo, although I love going on vacations with other people. I still like that. Me and the best friends are going to a couple cities this year, and we're going to have a good time. So,
See, they just put a whole new spin on solo trips for me. I think I've only done one in my life.
You suffering.
No, and I am. And I'm also that friend that, you know, we put an idea out and, you know, 6 months in advance so that we all can plan.
Okay.
And, you know, at 6 months, it's 10 of us. At 3 months, it may be 7, maybe 6. And for this particular birthday, maybe a couple weeks before, it was 3. The day it was time to leave, it was me and my little Volkswagen Jetta headed down.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? I need this, and I'm not going to allow anybody else to change what I need to do. And it was the first time I had been on a trip by myself. It was the first time I had gone to a restaurant by myself. I'm not the type of person that wants to sit in a restaurant by myself because it seems weird to me. And I enjoyed every bit of that.
It's one of those kind of things. It's like, okay, am I going to get in the water? I'm going to put my foot in the water. But once you just jump in there, like, you know, you forget about it. Like, you're not shivering once you get in the water. You get it. Like, I'm here by myself. It's cool. Like, you're not worried about other people. You know, you're on vacation. Those people will never see you again.
The only thing I needed, I'm like, I wish there was somebody here to take this picture for me while I'm in the water. But, you know, I found
there's some creative ways.
I figured it out. I got it.
People oftentimes believe that I'm on vacation with Bae or something like that because I have figured out how to take pictures solo. And there are different things you can do.
Okay.
I'll share with you.
He might even do a class and let you guys know how to do it too.
I tell you, there are some pictures that literally there is no one behind the camera that I've taken. And it's not a something. Like, I've done them myself.
Okay.
But that's once again, that's a part of just like finding new experiences. It's like I don't really always have to have other people to make me happy, even if that's for them to be my photographer. Yeah. Like I can like go somewhere else and create my own form and space of happiness.
Okay. Now, speaking of creating happiness, we are hoping and praying that we are happy in the next couple hours, weeks, days, months, and we are hoping that those Emmys are yours. Okay? But in the meantime, what is next for you?
What is next? So, I'm looking at writing a children's book about weather.
Okay.
Doing some collabs and doing some research on that now, having some conversations. So hopefully that is in the not too distant future. This summer looks to be pretty low key at this point. You know, a couple trips to DC. You know, maybe going up to New York. Where am I going? I think I'm gonna go out west, take a train, go to Chicago. I'm gonna do some things like that. I'm trying to like do like a Great American Tour. Like, you know, I go out of the country all the time, like literally 6 times last year.
Wow.
Or been out twice this year, which, you know, for some people that's a lot. Some people that's like, okay. You know, I am silver medallion with Delta, so I'm not really doing that much. But I do find time to get out. But I just want to like see the United States a little bit more, like go to some places I haven't been. As far as TV is concerned, I'll probably still be in the same position doing the same thing for a little while longer. I got another year left on this current deal that I'm on. Okay. So, you know, you got me at least for 12 more months. So I'll be around here in these streets during the weather. And then I really want to explore something that I haven't spoken too much about in this interview, is helping people deal with grief. And so that's another thing that I'm really looking to dive into, because I lost both of my parents.
And that is something that I did want to speak on earlier, so I'm glad you brought that up. You mentioned earlier that you lost your father at a young age, and it's been how long since you lost your mother?
4 years. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you have experienced, and like what are some of the tools that you've used to kind of get through that? Because I know, you know, you may wake up and you may smile, but there are moments where things get a little tough. You know, how have you managed to like get through those?
I would say that a grief is kind of like a scar from a wound. Is that, you know, if you have a scar in your hand, I have a couple from when I was a kid, roughhousing outside, and they have healed. But they're very visible, and I still remember them. Like, you know, I can kind of tell you what was happening, and so grief kind of acts in that same way. That I do think you heal. You obviously don't want to have another injury on top of that, and that's what kind of losing both parents was like. You know, my dad, he died when I was 2 years old, so I don't really have a great memory of him. You know, I do remember his final days or whatnot. But just growing up, knowing that had occurred, and then my mom was probably just much bigger, because, you know, I was 27 years old, 26. So it was a very kind of earth shattering. I don't have a like, how did I get through it? Like, you know, this is what I did, this is what I did not do. I really can. Some days, she died about 4 years ago, I am just as shocked and disturbed as I was, you know, when I heard. And both of my parents, they died of cancer. Mom, breast cancer, father, liver cancer. What I do take away from that, while the grief is kind of like a wilderness in and of itself, it does inform how I live. So my parents, they did a lot of great things. I was just very proud of them, as they would be of me. They paid and gave to their careers, but they also grew up in a different era. And that was work hard, do everything that you can, you know, stay late, get up early. And I don't negate any of that. That was great stuff to teach me, to work hard, do your best, be loyal to your organizations and all that kind of stuff. But I also understand that their lives ended when they were in their 30s, and for my mom when she was in her 50s. And that they were working, and that they were giving to people, they were giving to organizations, they were giving to their jobs, their families. But at the end of the day, they died. And we will all eventually meet that demise. And that doesn't mean that we go through life just frivolously or worried about death. But at the same time, it's like, if a job is doing something to me and it's causing me not to live freely and to live as I believe, and it's impacting me over a season of my life, and that allows me not to truly express my true creativity, my true nature, and to really develop as I need to as a person, I'm very much now conscious of the fact I could not be here down the road.
Yeah.
And down the road, days, weeks, months, years, whatever. So I have just an acute sense of awareness of life in a way that most people who are in their 30s just don't. It's just like, I'm not going to keep on tripping over this. If it ain't working, we're not going to keep on working with it. And some things you got to be patient and long suffering with.
Yeah.
But I just know that you may not have as much time as you think you have, and so you better live life. I'm not going to wait on you to plan a vacation and to back out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go.
Yeah. And I'll share the experience with you.
Exactly.
Later.
So that's what I do, is I live as I believe. I go out and I try to live life to my fullest, knowing that there are going to be mistakes and missteps along the way. But at the same time, I'm not trying to live trepidatiously. I'm trying to live fearlessly. So I want to go out there, do my thing, enjoy my life, and be the fullest expression of who I am. Because I don't know when the clock is going to be up.
Yeah. Now, for that person out there that is watching this conversation, that person out there that is struggling to find themselves, that person that is questioning everything around them, and they just don't know how to put that one step forward and get started, what would you say to that person?
So I didn't tell you this, and you may know it, but I'm also a licensed minister because I'm about to take you to church. So I didn't want you to come back around and ask. But there's a point, I believe it's in 2 Samuel, don't quote me, but King David the shepherd, the man that wrote all the Psalms, or who sang the Psalms, is in a situation, and like his family's under siege, all his warriors are under siege. And the Bible says, and y'all know what I'm about to say here, David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. And that's where you get the song that Donald Lawrence sang years ago, Encourage Yourself. And what I will say to that is you have to learn to talk to yourself. Your brain is going to tell you some stuff, and it's going to give you some good information, some bad information, and it's going to give you a whole lot of opinions. You know, things that you got to work through, going to conjure up ideas, going to paint pictures of things that are never going to be reality. But then I realized along my journey that the more I talked to myself, the better I got. So I would think, but I would also literally speak to myself audibly. And I literally was doing like the scripture says, I was encouraging myself. And it's so weird, Hugh. It's like literally like, Jonathan, you got this. Like, please do not stress about this, dude. Like, let it go. And although I may not necessarily be internalizing it, what I'm putting out there is the manifestation of what I'm trying to live into. Yeah. And oftentimes it's just easy to say, okay, I'm just going to try to think this through. But for the things that I am really, really, really dealing with deeply, I have to speak to them. And I have to speak to myself to see myself through them and to have the sensitivities and the sensibilities as I go through them to do it with a sense of self, that I don't detach myself from my problems or whatever I'm facing, but I'm right there with it. I'm conversing with it. I'm having a conversation with it. So I talk to myself. And then the fact of the matter is there's just a lot of truths in life that, you know, you come to realize the older you get. Everybody's not going to like you. You know, everyone's not going to hire you. Yeah. Everyone's not going to give you a second chance. And, you know, dating may be a struggle. You know, you may not get married as soon as you thought you would. Yeah. It's just that the things that you've heard for many years, like, eventually do become true in your own life. And you have to realize that, accept that for what it is, but also you have to realize that there are a whole lot of things out there that maybe haven't come true, and that you still have something, even when you don't feel like you have a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Now I hope you got something from that, because I know I certainly
Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. You got to encourage yourself.
Speaking to yourself.
And I'm doing it all the time.
Yeah.
There are times I'm about to go on air, and it's like I'm running over to the wall at the last second, and I'm out of breath, or they haven't, you know, there's been a mistake or something like that, and it's like, okay, just let that go, like, just relax, or you're getting way too deep. Just tell people where it's about to rain. Like, there's so much going on. There's rain chance here. Is it going to be, 80 or is it going to be, 76? Like, and I'm getting into this. And I literally tell myself, Jonathan, people just want to know if it's going to be warm or hot. Hot or cold. Like, yeah, exactly.
And
I
just
think
give
that's
the best you.
Exactly. And that's what speaking to yourself does. Because you will always talk to yourself in a way that is relatable. You don't start speaking to yourself like you read a manual or a book or a textbook. You talk to yourself how yourself talks. So in that, you're able to really be present in the moment and in the situation and kind of like crunch it down to like what it really is. Yeah. It is never really as big as you think it is.
I hope you heard that.
I love the look and turn. I'm going to try that when I get on.
And I hope you got something from that.
It's a look and turn.
It's okay.
How about that?
But look, I so appreciate you for joining me today. I hope that you guys got something out of this conversation. And I want you to let the people know how, if you're not on a social media break, how they can follow and support.
He's making a lot out of the social media break that I did for Lent.
You came back with a whole new name.
I sure did. So you can now find me under my new name on IG at Stacey on Screen, STACEYON, then the word screen. And then I'm also on Twitter, JStace on Fox 5. That's easy. Then I got like 2 or 3 Facebook pages. And depending on how you know me and where you know me from, you can figure out which one to follow and or to like. But I'm out there. And if you know me real well, you can give me a call.
And then for the next 12 months, you can catch him on...
For the next 12 months. Dude,
before the contract is extended.
Or possibly much more. I love it here in the city of Atlanta.
And Atlanta loves you.
And I love the city right back. This has been the best place I've worked, the best place I've lived. And I don't say that in a cliche way. I like sincerely mean it. I love everybody here, including great people like you. And all that you continue to do for the world.
Well, I appreciate that. And I love that I love what you are doing for the world. And had you not been doing that, we would not be here right now. So continue with your greatness.
Okay.
And I'll continue with mine. Thank you guys for tuning in to Be Okay Talk with today's special guest, Jonathan Stacey.
Talk to yourself.
Yes. Talk. Boom.